In this video, we're going to be doing what's called roughing the part. In our previous video, we faced off the nose of the part. In this video, we are going to start profiling this, getting this shape cut in. We can't take all this material off in one shot. It would just overload the machine, possibly break the tool, possibly dislodge the stock. So what we need to do is take it off in layers, gradually reducing the diameter to our profile. So to do this, we are going to run what's called a roughing operation. So under my operations, I choose rough, and our normal chaining dialog box comes up. We want to use a partial chain, and we're going to start at the beginning of our part and then click the last entity of our part. We are going to continue to use this outside diameter roughing tool. Our feed rate of 0.01 works, plunge rate of half that, spindle speed of 300 for our aluminum with a max spindle speed of 2000. Feel free to check off the coolant. It doesn't matter that much for what we're doing today. And our home position, we're going to define that again, and we're going to use the same values that we used last time. D5, Z3 works well for tool changes on our machine. From here, I'm going to go in and go to rough parameters. Equal steps, I'm going to set my depth to a little bit less than that. A larger, heavier machine might handle more. I found 0.05 works pretty well for the lathe in our shop. Stock to leave in X, we're going to leave this for a finishing pass. We're going to leave about 5 thousandths. This is kind of a good amount of material, works for steel, works for aluminum, works for brass, to go ahead and do a nice smooth finishing pass after roughing. Cutting method one way, we don't need to change our direction. What we are going to change is lead in, lead out. Lead in is okay. My first line is horizontal, so I want my tool to start out here 1/10 of an inch away and progress directly into the stock. For lead out, I found with the tools that we use, a 90-degree lead out works well, so it'll pull straight out of the material, and a length of 0.1 is still a good amount to come away so that when it returns for its next pass, it's well away from the material. I do like to extend the contour by 1/8 of an inch, and what this does is it will rough away material 1/8 of an inch past, leaving room to cut later on. I have found that with my video recording software, I can, for some reason, not change this value. So even though mine says 0, I want you to change your amount to 0.125. Click the green check. The last thing I'm going to go to is stock recognition, and I want to use stock for the outer boundary. This will recognize the size of the material and compensate for that in the roughing passes. I'm going to say OK, and we see it writes in our roughing. Your passes will go slightly past, exactly 0.125 past. So if I were to back plot this, I see my tool out at its tool change position, comes in, and it will start taking off material gradually, leading in 1/10 of an inch, pulling off 1/10 of an inch until it roughs away that material, leaving 5/1000ths of an inch. Now you notice how the tool path shows it going into the material. That's because Mastercam is actually compensating for the radius of the tool nose. It's calculating it by this point, not that point. In our next video, we'll write our finishing paths.